Good morning, beautiful. Happy Wednesday. So much happening this week. It's silly, really. But the big thing I want to talk about today is Venus went retrograde. Earlier this week, Saturn went retrograde, Venus went retrograde yesterday, and by tomorrow, Jupiter will be retrograde. But Venus rules our relationships, romance, money, and creativity, also the divine feminine. And retrograde periods are when planets slow down as they approach one of the curves in their orbit, and so they appear to move backwards. And what that indicates is usually a slowing down of the momentum relating to these energies of the planets. So relationships, money coming in especially, and the feminine as well, is a really big piece of what we're considering and reflecting upon at this time. How we relate to intimacy is a really big piece of this. Nature is also ruled by Venus, beauty, and creativity. And so it's a really good time to reflect on these things, really good time to reflect on relationships especially, and figure out ways that we can heal from our relationships. One of the things that's interesting about Venus retrogrades is that, from what I have researched, it's not uncommon for old flames, old relationships to come to the surface during this time. You might have someone reach out to you who you used to be involved with. You might reach out to somebody that you used to be involved with. You might be having dreams about people in your past. These are the kind of things that are really common with Venus retrograde, especially with Venus square Neptune right now. I would expect to see some dreams relating to past romances, creativity as well, and really allowing those messages to come through. The dreams might even guide you to what the healing is that needs to take place right now. Neptune really opening ourselves up to the higher realms right now as we look to reflect and consider our relationships, consider where we can allow ourselves to be more intimate, how we can open ourselves up to more intimacy, and how we can really begin to heal from our past relationships, and finding out which karmas from past relationships are still with us and that we need to heal from, that we need to purify. This is the kind of thing that this Venus retrograde period is really offering us the chance to do. And since it's in Gemini, a good way to go about this healing, once we establish some ground rules, is really how we talk about these things. Conversations are really important right now. Venus in Gemini really connects over the intellectual aspects of life, and so we're going to likely be having some healing conversations right now within our current relationships, with our past relationships, and really that is how we're going to be creating, is through our conversations right now. And again, taking time to reflect on these conversations, slowing down, really giving them the time that they deserve, is all about Venus retrograde right now. So things are slowing down. They just really are. And I think this is a really, really amazing time to pick up the old interests that you had. Venus in Gemini is a very creative placement, And so what are some of those interests that you maybe have ignored for a while? Maybe some of those interests that you never really pursued. This is a really good time to pick those up. Allow them to incubate. You don't necessarily need to bring them out for everybody to see. Venus retrograde is about kind of turning inwards and allowing this to be for ourselves and creating for ourselves. And then at the end of this retrograde period, likely being ready to showcase some of these things to the world. So I'm going to leave it there today. Happy Wednesday again. I love you all very much. Reach out if you're interested in a reading. I appreciate all of you who watch, who comment, who like. Hello, Maya, Imani. And let me know if you have any questions. My information is in the description if you feel like donating. Thank you so much. I love you all. Bye.